I see this as a pivotal election. If Trump doesn't win, it is pretty much the end of the United States.
Hi, I'm Kiesen Williams, video director at the Badger Herald.
And I'm George Clyde, associate video director at the Herald.
Donald Trump and Kamala Harris have made frequent visits to the state of Wisconsin, which is a crucial swing state in this upcoming election and could have a potential huge impact on the outcome.
2 weeks ago, the Herald was in Madison at Kamala Harris's rally. Today we're here in Waunakee, Wisconsin, where Trump is speaking, and we're going to talk to people, see what they think.
Let's go.
The Democratic Party is pushing tyrannical communism, basically. They are against the First Amendment, the Second Amendment. Just yesterday, they were talking about Biden needs to just dissolve the Supreme Court.
I'm from Pennsylvania, and I am here as an independent proprietor selling merchandise to the people here who support Trump. I didn't like Trump when he first took office because I thought he was just the same as every other politician. And then I started heard some of the things that he said, and he was the only politician I've ever heard call out the rigged elections. And I've always known the elections were rigged, but next thing I know, my president's telling me that,
How are you feeling about this upcoming election?
Scared. It's like I said, I think it's the most important election definitely in our lifetime that we've ever had. It makes you nervous to see the numbers. It's really a lot of uncertainty. It's really kind of a scary time for that.
Were you able to make it into the rally today?
I was not. They had a maximum capacity of 1,100 people, but there was thousands and thousands outside. Thousands of people couldn't get in. Might have been tens of thousands, but there was a lot of people that couldn't get in. But we're all excited to vote November 5th.
What would you say are the most important policies for you in this upcoming election?
Pro-life. Without life, there is no other issues. No other issues exist because life does not exist. It's important not only because it is a personal issue in my family. I've been pro-life ever since I was born. My grandmother was a huge pro-life advocate back in the 60s. My mom has been very pro-life and everything like that. So, yeah, it's a pretty big issue in my family.
Well, the economy's huge. We want to take tax cuts for the middle class, for everybody really, but tax cuts are huge. We want to drill oil in Pennsylvania and Texas, everywhere in America. Kamala shut it down. She's against fracking. She's against oil. She's against coal. And we want to open that back up, and we want to be energy independent again. I liked having $2 gasoline 4 years ago. And it's been $3, $4, $5, and we want to get back to that cheaper living.
Supposedly, I don't know if it's true or not, but I've heard a lot of different things talking about how much money they're giving into the illegals. And then in the same note, we're giving so much money to foreign wars, and we apparently can't afford to help out the people in the East Coast with the problems they're having right now with the storms and everything, and that's really disturbing, to say the least.
Is there anything about Donald Trump that sticks out to you as a person, as a presidential candidate compared to Kamala Harris?
Absolutely. He really believes in border security. That's obvious. She does it as a political stunt, 11th hour joke. There's no truth, no authenticity. It's a fraud.
I think that President Trump is going to be the savior of the United States. I think he's going to close our borders, and I think he's going to make our country safe. I think he's going to end missing children and help save the youth of our nation, and I hope that the youth of our nation understands that.
My natural-born daughter can't get food stamps, but you're going to give food stamps to illegal immigrants? It just doesn't make sense. I can't afford to rent a place, but you're going to put all these illegal immigrants up in hotels and give them plenty of money for housing? I'm a single mother struggling, and I can't make ends meet, but they're not helping me. They're not giving me $4,000 a month stipend. You're lucky if you get a couple $100s a month if you're on welfare in this country, if you're American. All of our lower-end hotels are full of foreigners.
Those could be legal.
I can tell you that they're foreigners because I hear them talk to each other, so I know they're not American.
So what brought me to this rally, it's actually an interesting story. I looked at the news last night and I saw Trump's comment over the weekend that said, if you think about it, only a person with a mental disability could have allowed this to happen to our country. That hit a chord with me, hit home, because I have a son who's 26 years old, who has developmental mental disabilities, challenges. He's nonverbal. We have a lot of friends who have quote-unquote mental disabilities. And I feel it is extremely important for my voice, to be heard, and other people's voices to be heard within the disability community, because we are not being heard, and people keep knocking our community. People in charge of our country cannot be demeaning and devaluing people with mental disabilities. And so I think we need to, whether it's Republicans or Democrats, in our country, in Congress, we need to really hold people accountable and stop this devaluing and demeaning of people with mental disabilities, because they have so much that we can learn and so much that they can teach us.
So I believe the election was rigged, which is one of the things, that started making me like Trump, because he called out the rigged elections. And the January 6th thing, he told them to stand down. They're just a bunch of mad patriots. And I don't really blame them for, I wanted to be there. I'm glad I wasn't, or I'd probably still be in prison or something right now. But yeah, no, the January 6th thing, that was just, they didn't want to be robbed, It's hard when somebody robs you and they steal something from you, and then now that's your new boss? Wait, what just happened?
I did have my doubts initially, and then the more and more that came out about lawsuits against states in general, about poll workers who are found to have multiple ballots, ballot counts in their vehicles, videos of literally people dropping off ballots in the middle of the night, the fact that there was poll centers that were shut down, and the poll workers were basically not allowed to be in there for a certain amount of time. There's so much. To say it was a conspiracy theory is really far-fetched, because there was so much evidence pointing to something going on, and that really just kind of put a damper on a lot of people's views about that being not the case. It being a fair election. Honestly, I think the same way about this one. I think if Kamala did somehow win, that it would be really questionable. There's never been a point in history, I don't think, that has been more important to throw your vote out there and really show what you're looking for. And freedom is definitely at stake these days. So